Recording. Okay, so hello, Ms. Samir. It's good that we have you here today. Thank you for participating in my personal project.
Hello, Abbas. It's nice to see you again. Last time we discussed certain issues, and today probably we will have more fruitful
Great.
discussions.
Great. So today I've prepared like a set of questions for you, and I would like you please to answer them, and it's gonna be just based on your opinion, okay? So the first question is, so how would you describe the current state of Azerbaijan's economy in terms of growth and stability?
Actually, the economy is a big concept, so we have to define what do we mean by saying Azerbaijan's economy. Usually, economy is like everything that we produce, goods and services within the economy, all the allocation of resources and stuff. These are called big economic system structure of a country. Our economy in Azerbaijan is primarily characterized by like moderate, let's say, economic growth rates, and this economy is based on oil and gas, hydrocarbonate resources. So we are a resource-rich economy, and our economy is really dependent on those resources. Our state-led investments are quite big. So the role of state in the economy is uh, quite influential, let's say. And also the economy, as I said, is a big concept. And since it is big, it's also difficult to manage the stability of this economy. Thanks to the reforms that we have seen so far, it provides macroeconomic stability over like decades. And since we have also oil revenues added to our wealth fund, yeah, we can have some buffer if there is any shock or stuff. So we can manage unexpected or sudden economic shocks. These are the main characteristics of our economy. We have controlled inflation system. The inflation is not high. Also, we have fixed exchange rate. Manat is fixed. So over probably decade, we have 1.7 uh, manat against $1. Uh, but being dependent on natural resources makes you fragile to certain market fluctuations. So we have to be careful regarding oil prices in the market. So these are the basic characteristics of Azerbaijan's economy. The location is also important, geography. Azerbaijan is in the middle of Asia and Europe, north and south. So we have Middle Corridor project, we have so many pipelines, energy corridors, etc. All these are the additional advantages of Azerbaijan to, let's say, contribute to our economic growth. We have big oil fund, which intervenes to market and to the economy. Also, we have some transfers from oil fund every year to our state budget, public expenditures. So these are all key factors.
Okay, so you've touched a bit about the oil industry. Since our country is very, I think it's like most our countries just dependent on oil industries, right? So how can we change the fact that so our like oil dependence will decrease from now on? Are there like some kind of plans or future steps that we can decrease the oil dependency?
It's $1 million question. Uh,
Okay.
Being dependent on oil is not sustainable and it's fragile, as I said. Uh, but we have to do it. So the key step here is about diversification of our economy from oil and gas to non-oil and gas industries, let's say. So here we have to find what is our advantages in certain industry. So can we compete in global markets in, let's say, machinery, manufacturing, tourism, etc. So these are the main questions that we have to find. So the question is about what to do
Yes.
to diversify. We have to encourage other sectors. to grow. It can be made by certain incentives, market incentives, uh, like tax incentives. You decrease, for example, tax rates to certain industries in certain areas. For example, we have free economic zone, we have industrial parks. These are one of the tools that can give incentives to certain industries. Uh, Also, we have to invite more private actors, foreign direct investors, to come to invest in Azerbaijan and to produce something, to make something. And these are critical questions. Making them happen is extremely difficult. But if you have political stability, if you have institutional setting, right, institutional setting, if you have macroeconomic stability, you can somehow convince foreign investors, private actors that non-oil sector of Azerbaijan, non-oil sectors of Azerbaijan are attractive and they are promising.
Okay, so you mainly we already touched like the questions about the economic challenges that our country is facing.
Mhm.
So I've asked about the oil, and you already said like the solutions of it. Like for example, I mean I think that we have more economic challenges than just oil. Like how can we address them like effectively so we won't have any consequences of that?
What do you mean by challenges? We have economic challenges that we face. These are mostly, previously it was more about structural challenges. Over 70 years, we have been on the Soviet Union, and you might know that Soviet Union had completely different economic ways of doing stuff. And after that, we had to transition from that Soviet style economic governance to more market-led economic system. And during that period, we had structural challenges. Now the challenges are more complex. We are now more market-driven economy. And the main challenge, as you said, is about dependence of oil, dependence of economy on the oil and gas. But now there are also some challenges about private sector development. We have to develop our private sector, especially small and medium enterprises. We have some labor market challenges, human capital development and stuff. Like you need good talent, competitive talent in order to change something. So yes, we have really advanced technological developments around the globe, but it's not enough. If you want to produce something, if you want to make something happen here, like if you want to have Azerbaijani Tesla, Azerbaijani ChatGPT stuff, you need good talent to do it. And also, we have some demographic shifts that we have to consider. Azerbaijan is a young society. Uh, so, if you have young, dynamic, talented demographic structure, potential, then you can change something quite good. So, these are the main challenges that we have to deal. Uh, Human capital development is a completely different uh, concept. It covers health, education, labor market is another difficult area that we have to manage, employment rates, uh, allocation of resources. So these are the main challenges that we have to deal with.
Okay,
So by the way, last year, World Bank published its flagship report, World Development Report. And every time this report is dedicated to a topic, let's say they choose one critical topic. And last time it was about middle income trap, which means certain countries cannot go beyond middle income economy to advance. Uh, so there are many challenges. And in that report, there is a very like sad but critical issue about Azerbaijan. So the report says that certain countries have dependence on oil and gas, commodity products, and these are the fragile economies. So in order to grow rapidly or sustainably, you have to diversify your exports. And those economies who are dependent on natural resources, they cannot diversify the export. structure, export basket, let's say. And it's called locked in economies. They are locked in oil and gas, or another term is brown locked in. And there are top 10 countries that are facing to the risk of being locked in, and Azerbaijan is one of them. So if you read that report, it's very interesting to see that all other countries who have similar risks are again oil and gas OPEC countries.
Mhm.
So this is a critical issue that we have to think and diversify the economy.
Yeah.
Uh, Certain countries around us, like Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Iraq, Iran, everyone has oil. But we have to analyze who is doing what and what is best. So in order to avoid certain mistakes, we can learn from other experiences as well.
So like learn from the other countries' growth and then produce it in our own country, right?
If a country, let's say, producing oil and gas like us, and they had longer experience than us. If we see that their economic growth is doomed now, they cannot grow further, we can learn their experience, what they made as mistake, and we can avoid it. So one of the mistakes that all of them we can observe in all of them is about being incapable of diversifying. So being locked in oil exports.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my next question is you already touched about beyond you touched about small and medium sized businesses. How do those like businesses contribute in our economic development? Can you please repeat that again for me?
There are different sizes of firms and enterprises in the economy. For example, if you check the Soviet-style economies, you will see that there are no private companies because it's not allowed to have private property. And usually in those economies, they had big government companies, state-owned enterprises, SOE. Now China has also similar economic structure. They have really big, giant state-owned enterprises. But these big enterprises sometimes cannot keep their innovative nature in power. So after some time, because they are not private, they have no profit mindset. They are not interested in producing innovative solutions for the next few years, let's say, to compete. But those small, medium enterprises, private firms, they must become innovative. They must compete in the market in order to survive and to make profit if it is possible. So that's why these SMEs, small and medium enterprises, they are more innovative. They are more value adding economic actors in the system, and especially in non-oil industries, their role is quite significant. And there is also like saying if you have heard about like zombie enterprises and gazelle, like young dynamic enterprises. Usually big enterprises are zombies. They can become too big to fail. So it happened in during the financial crisis in the United States that there were so many big companies that if they fail, the economic structure would fail as well.
Mm.
That's why governments had to save them to survive. But those zombie companies are not dynamic, they are not adaptive, they are not, uh, let's say, adding more value. And in order to avoid those risks in the future, we have to incentivize, we have to give some room for SME growth, and SMEs hire more people. They are more adaptive to regional realities, circumstances, and also SMEs produce startups, for example. They are also SMEs, micro enterprises. With one idea that they get, they can produce a product, a service that is worth of, let's say, billions. ChatGPT, for example.
Yeah.
Last week, Elon Musk offered
Really, yeah.
ChatGPT 97 billion US dollar
Yeah.
to a small startup. So sometimes they are creating huge values to the economic system.
Mhm. Okay. Wait, so, you touched a bit about the government. So does like our government do they like offer enough of the support to our like SMEs like through like loans or like do they support enough our like small and medium-sized businesses?
Yes, there are support packages that we have. It's not about only like tax incentives or giving subsidies. It's about offering them more opportunities in the market, access to finance, institutional trust, regulation system, etc. So it's a comprehensive set of support, let's say. We have tax incentives. We have certain subsidies in certain industries, for example, in agri to produce certain agricultural products. And also we have technology parks
Yeah.
where you are exempt from taxes for 7 years, all taxes. So if you are a resident of a techno park or industrial park, you don't pay any taxes for 7 years. And this is a huge advantage for a small, fragile enterprise
Yeah.
to start their idea, to make a product, and to produce massively. And then, if they become competitive enough, they can survive outside of the technopark. So there are quite good incentives for the SMEs.
Okay. So last time I was talking to another professor and they said so my next question is what key steps should Azerbaijan take to keep its economy stable in the long run, like in the future? The another professor told me that we shouldn't really focus on the long run. Well, we should keep only focusing on the present. What do you actually think about that?
Probably that's more ideological. Keynesian approach. They said we all are dead in the long run. So forget about it and focus on short-run solutions. Uh, the economic reforms are quite closely tied with political reforms as well. So everything is related within the country. Usually, politicians try to find short-term solutions. Like we have to solve something immediately. It has different reasons, but that's the reality. So Keynes said that there is a problem and we have to solve it now. Probably that's from that school of thought. Uh, in the long run, we have to keep macroeconomic stability, like spendings and revenues in control. So you shouldn't spend more than you earn, you generate revenue. Of course, there should be some examples from US and other countries that usually they have budget deficit, so they spend more than they earn. But if it is manageable, if it is under control, it's a good thing. What Azerbaijan can do is uh, we have to keep fiscal prudence, a balanced budget. We have to control our transfers from SOFAs, state oil fund, to public expenditures. Because the oil revenues are not for only our generation now. We have to save and keep that money, some portion of that money, to our future generations. So that's a critical issue that we have to uh, manage. Also, as I said, we have to continue diversifying our economy because it is like in 5 years or 30 years. We have always tried to find other options, alternatives to oil and gas. We have to develop human capital. In the beginning of our conversation, I mentioned about healthcare, education, talent. These are key inputs of knowledge-based economy. Knowledge is one of the main factors to generate new ideas and to diversify uh, your basket of goods and services in the country. We have to strengthen our institutional setting, like improving governance, regulations, uh, and also how to approach to private sector development. And of course, banking system, financial sector, let's say, should be always growing. So banking system is called the blood system of the economy. So it should be always healthy. But as I said, these are not only economic issues. It's more about political, legal, social uh, issues that are always interconnected. So these are the main issues that I would say.
So you would you say that like the diversifying our economy is like the most important like thing that we should focus on, or
Definitely. You can create strong financial system. You can implement sound macroeconomic stability, like policies that we have here also. You have to you can aim that I am improving innovation and entrepreneurship. You can say that our institutions are strong. But these are not enough. The most critical factor, the most critical issue that we have to consider is about diversification of the economy.
um so I think I have like two questions. But so like in your opinion, I think we already talk about diversifying, but just to repeat again, like the most important thing for Azerbaijan is to diversify its economy, like to keep the economy stable, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Not only keeping it stable, but also growing,
growing.
consistently growing. So there is a uh, saying in economic discussions that in order to go from one level of income to the upper
Mhm.
income level, like from middle income to, let's say, advanced economies, or from least developed to middle income, you have to grow by 7% on average for minimum 25 years.
Seven.
If you achieve, like, you have to grow by 7% annually on average for 25 years. So for one generation. If you achieve to that economic growth rate for 25 years, you can go to the upper steps. For example, South Korea did that. They rapidly, they were rapidly growing. When they started actually doing all those reforms, they were poor. They were a poor economy, poorer than most of African countries actually. And now they are one of the richest countries, let's say, richest economies. They have global players like Samsung, Hyundai, Kia, etc. So they achieved to get on average 7% economic growth rates. So what happens in the next 10 years or 25 years is really important. So you have to sustain that economic growth. It's not about only keeping stable economy.
Okay. So you touched about like the 10 years in the future. So like my last question also like it's also kind of bit connected to that. So like where do you exactly see our like economy in the next 10 years? And like what factors will shape its like trajectory? So like, for example, do you expect
You want me forecast something?
no. Okay. No, but the things that, for example, do you think that our like non-oil like sectors will outgrow the oil and gas industries maybe in the next 10 years? Or will
There is a
out
huge potential. There is a promising potential that our non-oil sector can outperform our oil sector. As economists, we have only one job to forecast, but we are not good in forecasting actually. So it's difficult to say exactly what will happen, but we can see, we can observe what are the challenges, what are the promises, and we can draw some roadmap, let's say. Uh, Definitely, we have huge potential in certain industries, uh, but it all depends on success in diversification. We have to escape from that brown locked-in trap. Uh, for that, we need to invest in infrastructure, for example, logistics, connectivity. Azerbaijan, as I said in the beginning, is in the middle of east and west, north and south. So investing in connectivity infrastructure is really useful. It's not about just physical connectivity, it's also about digital connectivity now. Uh, Whatever Asia is exporting to Europe can come and cross our economy. We can offer huge advantages in that connectivity uh, infrastructure. Another big potential is in energy sector, especially green energy, let's say renewable energy. You might have heard about Azerbaijan investing in green energy projects, especially in the liberated areas and in Absheron area as well. So we invited some foreign companies like Mastar to invest in those renewable energy projects. So we have huge potential there. And since our economy is a small one compared to Europeans, so we have lower demand to that energy. So whatever we produce, most of them will be exported to European countries. Europe needs that because they need to diversify their oil supply, to decrease their dependence on, let's say, Russia, and transition from fossil fuel to alternative energy. So Azerbaijan can play a critical role here. Uh, we have to join, and actually, we have to open our economy to international trade. Someone might call it trade liberalization or economic integration to certain markets like European markets. It should happen, and it's good to happen because we have to compete. We have to be able to compete globally. Competing in a small country within the small country is okay, but it's not enough. When you export to certain bigger markets, you know how to compete. And if you know how to compete, it means you can become more innovative, you can become more dynamic, adaptive to market changes. What else? Also, talent, as I said, is quite important. It's a significant issue to add value to your knowledge-based economic system. These are the main issues, I would say. If we achieve uh, good results in these issues over 10 years or 25 years, Azerbaijan can transition from middle income status to high income.
Yeah, so I think that's like all the questions that I've really prepared for you, and I think you've answered them like all very detailed. So I think that's pretty much all. Thank you very much, Mr. Samir, for again participating and answering all of the questions. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Actually, I don't think that I provide detailed answers. They
Mm.
are like 1 hour discussion. Each of them is 1 hour discussion question, but I did my best. So
Yes,
hopefully it
if
will be
around like
useful.
40 minutes, I think that was like the best that like I
It's my pleasure.
combination. Okay, thank you very much.